My name is Bob Cart. I'm the ice garden manager. I started at the ice garden in 1974, part-time, and I started full-time in 1979. I've been there ever since. And early years, I used to go back and forth between Dwan Golf Course and the ice garden, summer and winter. And eventually in '79, I got full-time at the rink.
My name is Stephen White. I am an IT analyst, and I have been here 40 years. Originally, I was hired with the title of programmer analyst, which is basically someone who has to analyze what people might need in the way of computer help and then program the computers to make that happen for them. And so, since that was what I originally did, that is still what I actually like to do the most. But we don't do as much anymore, but we still do some of that, and so when I get a chance, that's the most fun part of the job.
It's the people. I'm a people guy, and it's like, I mean, growing old with Denny and Andy there, now working with Nancy and Renee and Todd and Joey, I mean, it's about being around all the people. And all the things we have going on, that Hockeyville thing a couple of years ago, stuff like that, is, you know, keeps you coming back. I was driving down to St. Peter yesterday, and I'm standing at the gas pump, and the guy comes up to the other pump, and he's looking at me, and I just said hi and stuff, and then he goes, "Are you Denny?" And I said, "No, I'm Bob." And he goes, "You look like a guy that worked at the rink." And I said, "Well, I'm running the rink now. Denny retired in 2006. So then we talked, he's an old Jefferson guy, graduated in '89, and just got, you know, my kids think I'm crazy. We run into people I know all over the place.
Probably the number of computers. 40 years ago, there was one computer, and it took a whole room to house it. Now there's hundreds of computers, and it takes a whole room to house them. 40 years ago, for example, the weekly water billing took hours to run, and now it takes hours to run. Probably the biggest change is just the massive amount of computing power we have now compared to what we had then.
Mostly my hair and my waistline, but there's technology. I mean, technology is huge. If you can look at it from back when we were turning on everything with a switch, you go on and off with lights and furnaces and everything, like a thermostat at home. Well, now we have everything that's on the computer, where we have a building management system, and I can even look at, you know, our compressors and our furnaces from my basement. You know, I pull up the rink and I can see what's running. My wife says, "You watching the ball game or the rink?" And it's like, "Oh, nothing. I'm watching the ball game." Stanley Cup is at the rink. My kids are young, so we're going to have a picture with my kids in the Stanley Cup. This is before all the cell phones and everything. So being the guy that I am, I don't go to the front of the line, even though I work there. I stay in line with the kids. We get up to the cup and we go to take it. We have no batteries in the camera. Way back when. You know, just the big events. I mean, if you look at what we've had going on there, I mean, like I mentioned the Hockeyville thing, and then you've got, we had national figure skating championships. We've had all the different NHL teams that come through there. And
I would probably have to point to February 14th, 1996. I was sitting at the console of our Unisys computer, trying to make some space on the disk, because in those days, the guiding principle of IT was don't spend money. And so we were always running out of space on the disk. And so I just typed a command to remove some files. And unknown to me, because of my haste, I had, and in an unfortunate naming convention, I had actually typed a command to delete all the source code files for all of our production programs. So I swear I can still remember pressing the key to send that command. The tactile feedback was smooth, but firm, and not clicky like some keys were in those days. And I can remember it bottoming out as I pressed it with authority. And I can remember the punch of nausea as I took my hand off that key and realized what I'd done. And I remember sitting there in silent horror while the computer churned away deleting files, and I knew there was nothing I could do to stop it. Fortunately, as you know, one never can be too paranoid about backups, and so we did have redundant backups of those files, including my own special copy of the water billing files, which I kept on the same tape that contained the database. And so of the 784 files I deleted, I was able to get back 780 of them, and the 4 that were lost were not particularly important. As you know, over the last 40 years, we've had 5 or 6, depending on how you count, major infrastructure changes. And that averages out to every 7 or 8 years, everything's new. We have to learn all new stuff. We have to transfer the things that we've been doing from one way of doing them to another way of doing them. So every 7 or 8 years, it's like getting a new job. But I never have to clean up my desk or leave the wonderful people I work with.
I think it's the big events. It's the big stuff. When there's, we're just getting through this renovation going on right now. We've got the new front end going up. We've got the dress rooms are separated for make it more gender friendly, things like that in the back. And then we have, we're looking down the road to try and make more improvements. So it's the big things like that. You want to, a new season starting in a couple of weeks. It's all fresh. I mean, I'm seeing these dads that I knew growing up, as they were bringing their kids. Now they're in there with their grandkids, and they're on the high school team. It's like someone's been around a while. So people like coming to Bloomington. The rink is part of the reason.